So here we are. So does anybody think that Trump sneakers are legit? Does anybody think that Trump cologne is legit? Of course you don't. And you would say, as I do, this is one giant grift, it's one giant scam. But I got to tell you, I don't think, I think he's a criminal of the first order. I don't, I think these people, they want to be stolen from. And there's a lot of speculation about what fragrance that Trump's going to come out with. If he was true to himself, it would smell like, frankly, shit. Because as I pointed out before, the man has a diaper leakage problem, and a lot of people have pointed this out before that, and then subsequent to my remarks. He's got a real body odor problem. And what's really funny to me is he's selling cologne. I think he did for $99. I'm very interested to see what secondary aromas they are there. But that's what's going on. And these people are lining up to throw their money at him. I mean, I don't know. Is it stealing if somebody wants to be stolen from? I mean, there's some consensual aspect to this kind of thievery. And so now we have the border bill bullshit. Okay, I don't care about the border. They murdered this freaking guy in Russia while they're having interviews with Putin. And Trump is saying, Russia, do whatever you want. I don't care. Just if you want to bomb Denmark, what the fuck? Bomb Denmark. Who cares about Denmark anyway? Well, actually, I do because my great-grandfather was born there. I'm going to Copenhagen pretty soon. I hope he don't bomb me when I'm there. But and they're doing it right in front of you. They don't even care because they have so little respect for you. They have, by you, I mean the collective, sane portion of the country that allows itself to get run over again and again and again. And of course, Mike Johnson, he won't bring the Ukraine, but Mike Johnson is completely controlled by David Vitter. You remember Vitter the shitter? Yeah, I do. The former senator from Louisiana. If anybody had any sense, they'd go see that he hires all of the staff. It's all inbred, but all of this goofy ass, but highly dangerous concept of Christian nationalism. And they're doing it right in front of your face. And Merrick Garland's out there treating this like it's some kind of legit or alternative viewpoint, when it is frankly no such thing. If you do a mathematics problem, it can be algebra, calculus, I don't know, if something I can't do. If you get the first calculation wrong, you can never get the right answer. So if calculation number 1 is 2 + 2 = 3, it doesn't matter where you are on calculation 15, you have to get the wrong answer. And this is the calculation that people miss. This deal is not legit. They're not like a legit opposition party that, well, they have a point of view, we have a point of view, we think our point of view is superior to your point of view, and we'll run a campaign and we'll do this. And the person, in my opinion, that falls for the legit argument every time is, well, Merrick Garland. So Merrick Garland thinks this whole thing is legit. So he gets Robert Hur, who he said, this is a really legit guy. He was a Supreme Court clerk. He went to, I don't know, some Harvard or Stanford Law School or some shit like that. He worked at Kirkland and Ellis. He worked with Brett Kavanaugh as a Supreme Court judge. How much more legit guy can you get? Bullshit. There's nothing legit about Robert Hur. But Merrick Garland believes if you're just nice to these people and you just let them air out our dirty laundry, we will all be stronger for it. Bullshit. And let me tell you where it started, just so you know, historically. It all started with Bush v. Gore. And When Bush v. Gore came out, Scalia and them said, we don't really have a rationale for this. We're going to do the best we can, but pay no attention to it because this doesn't count for anything else. We're just going to steal the fucking election right in front of you. And do you have any idea of what the pontifical class did? Do you have any idea of what the opinion makers did? They said, well, they've spoken. We're a nation of laws. We have to follow the law. There's nothing we can do. And then you saw all of this. It was really, in some ways, the United States' finest moment. The Supreme Court had to come in and steal an election, and we went along with it, and this makes us great people. Fuck that. And I'll tell you all of it. So they all saw this, and they said, we can get away with anything we want. We'll just get away. We'll just do anything. We'll start wars. We'll get away with it because the New York Times will go along with it, and they'll have Judy Miller stories, and we'll plant stories here, and we'll do Pat Tillman. You can't remember Jessica Lynch. There's nothing legit about any of this. But what they found out was they get away with it. And the other side, that's our side, or whoever collectively we are, the same patriotic people who believe in pluralism and who believe that with a better educational system, we can make people better citizens, and we believe in the idea of the Constitution and like that. They don't give a shit. And so, and we all, the whole class. So Mitch McConnell, and we're talking about, somebody says, well, we should pack the Supreme Court. If we get power back, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to have 9. We should go to 12, 13, something. And people said, oh, that's you that'd be the worst thing you could do. All right, we can argue whether or not that's a good idea, but it's very unlikely we're going to get that kind of power back given the Senate map. But all right, fantasize. Who said anything when Mitch McConnell unilaterally, on his fucking own, just said we're going to have 8 members of the Supreme Court? No one. What price did they pay? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Denada. Because we, in our effort to please everybody, to act like it's all a legit deal. Two people come, some people believe in tax cuts, some people believe that they don't work, some people believe in too much regulation, some people believe in too little regulation. And, there's a commonality there. We can all sit down as adults and reconcile these differences. Oh, my God. Please, people, please, as long as you live, don't fall for the legit argument. Don't fall for the normalization. Don't fall for the fact that this is the Supreme. You got a law they pass, or they pass a decision. You obviously have to live with it. But they don't read the law book or any of that kind of crap. They just say, what can we do to advance more power for the Federalist Society, and how can we exercise more power over the lives of people in the United States? Don't ever treat this shit like it's legit. Ain't nothing legit about Kavanaugh or Alito or Chief or any of these people. Now, I caution you, you got to live under the law because, well, you can go to jail if you don't. So follow the law, but never believe that it's legitimate, that this was done through judicial temperament or thinking about legal traditions and precedents. And no, don't get out of here with that foolishness. That's not where we are. So here we are. The situation is not what we'd hoped for. It's not the best we face with. But we have to ask the question that Lenin asked. Okay, I'm not a very big Lenin fan, but he did say the question was, what is to be done? That's a fair question. Also, Lenin hated the woke. I think he wrote a book called Left-Wing Communism and Infantile Disorder. Even Lenin couldn't take these freaking woke people in Leningrad. 1914 or whatever the hell it was. He wrote the book. But what is to be done? What are we going to do our part? Or how do we come in here and try to save this country from the right-wing power zealots that will go to any extreme that they can to obtain power and rule over your lives? And of course, you can't say that there's a P-tape and that Trump is compromised by Russia. Well, I will say this. I think there is some equivalent to the P-tape. I think he's totally compromised by Russia. I think Putin owns him. And I'm sorry, I disagree with the pontifical class that disputes this. They ought to spend more time looking into this and less time with that bullshit weapons of mass destruction and crap that they put out. But here we are. What are we going to do? What we talked about, still very viable. We talked about the rat fuck patrol. Young people, mockery is our strongest thing that we have. We have to be innovative. We have to push. We have to use all of the tools that are available to us. The judgments against Trump, the jury finding that he's a rapist. We're creative people. We can do creative signs. We can mess up his events. We can show up in places. We can embarrass them. We can humiliate them. We can mock them. All do it in accordance with the law, but do it very vigorously. Now, I know that some of you just can't, probably like me, James, I can't get in a car and drive 80 miles to a Trump rally and put up with these people and carry signs or wait in line at 4 o'clock in the morning to get in. Okay, that younger people can do that. Please go ahead and do it. So what do you do? Because you're like me. If you're this far into this video, you shared a Carvillian view of the world, that there's nothing legit about these people, that they're total danger to the Constitution, they're total danger to the country, they're total danger to everything we believe in. And I'm going to try to stir up a program here. I think one of the and people want to do something. Understand, they like sitting there. Well, he said, well, you could write a check to swing congressional district or Senate campaign, and you can do this or that. I'm going to talk to, and I'm going to report back to you, some of the better state parties and campaigns to see if people can volunteer to write postcards. What I'd like to do is have a program where you can request a list of maybe 500 voters in Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin, Arizona, or Georgia, somewhere, that the data can be pretty good about this, that these are non-habitual voters that are very likely to vote Democratic. And I think there are thousands, tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 people sitting out there that are willing to sit down and write a postcard saying, dear sir, or madam, or dear whatever the person's name is. I'm sitting here and I'm very concerned about the future of the country. I hope you are. I'm really kind of counting on you to go out and vote. It's very important that you do this, and so much at stake. And then send them 3 postcards. I think that's going to work way more than a door knocker from Boston showing up in Tucson to get somebody out to vote. And I want to try to see if something like this exists, or how we can build on something like this, because I do have this theory that there's a lot of people in this country that want an assignment, but our political system and the way we set up doesn't give them the opportunity to do this. There are other things that we can think of. I think we ought to be very aggressive in calling in to local radio or talk radio shows. I think we should be very aggressive in local publications with letters to the editor and pointing things out. I think wherever you have a Democratic candidate that is coming through, if you're fortunate enough to live in a swing district or a swing state, to organize people to go to the rallies, to show support, to do creative signs. But my point is, we got to do something. And maybe Biden is not the greatest candidate that ever lived, and maybe we got problems with this and that. But this is a whole goddamn Constitution is at risk here. And, I've said it before. Maybe you can't be on Mount Suribachi. Maybe you can't be, at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, or maybe you can't be at Stonewall, or maybe you can't be at Seneca Falls, or maybe you can't be at all of Bella Wood, all of the other places where people are. But there is something that you can do. And in subsequent YouTube videos, we're going to give you more things and some assignments that you can do where you can feel like you're doing your part to save our great Constitution. Because if we lose this, it's going to be the end of the Constitution. So bear with me. We got some more things coming. We're going to have some more specific ideas of things individually that good citizens around this country that care about this country can do. But what is to be done? A lot is to be done. And we're going to keep trying to do this. But we're never, ever going to assume that there's anything remotely legit about these people, the way that they operate, the way that they go about things. It just, they change the Supreme Court on a whim. They appoint people in hoping that Merrick Garland so wants some Republican to pat him on the back and say, "Oh, gee, Merrick, we're sorry, we'll put you on the Supreme Court next time." Ain't going to happen. Forget about it. Forget about it. And so be tough, hang in there. We're going to have assignments. God damn it, one way or another, we're going to do our duty. We're going to save this Constitution. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.